John Deere, the iconic green machinery giant, has just shut down its U.S. operations, and former President Donald Trump has slapped a staggering 200% tariff on the company. What does this mean for American farmers, the economy, and you? Stay tuned, because this story is about to unravel in ways you won't believe. John Deere, a name synonymous with American agriculture, has been a trusted partner for farmers for over 180 years. But now, in a move that's left the agricultural community reeling, the company has announced it's shutting down its U.S. operations. The reason? Rising production costs, supply chain disruptions, and a growing reliance on foreign manufacturing. But that's not all. Former President Donald Trump, known for his hardline trade policies, has just imposed a jaw-dropping 200% tariff on John Deere equipment. Yes, you heard that right, 200%. This isn't just a business decision, it's a political bombshell that's about to change the game for American farmers. Farmers across the nation are feeling the heat. With John Deere equipment now effectively priced out of reach, many are left wondering how they'll plant, harvest, and maintain their livelihoods. The $34 billion U.S. farming industry is at a standstill, and the ripple effects are already being felt. From skyrocketing food prices to potential shortages, this crisis is about to hit every American household. But why did this happen? And what's really behind Trump's massive tariff move? Let's break it down. John Deere, like many American companies, has been shifting production overseas to cut costs. In recent years, the company has expanded its operations in Mexico and other countries, leaving U.S. factories struggling to compete. Enter Donald Trump, who has long championed America First policies. In a bold move to bring manufacturing back to U.S. soil, Trump has imposed a 200% tariff on John Deere equipment imported from abroad. The goal? To force the company to reinvest in American factories and workers. But is this strategy working, or is it backfiring in a big way? The sharp decline in crop prices is one of the most pressing issues facing John Deere and the country's farmers. Since 2022, the prices of three of the main crops grown in the U.S. corn, soybeans, and wheat have significantly dropped. Corn prices have fallen by 37%, soybean prices by 24%, and wheat prices by 35%. This sharp drop has had a significant impact on the demand for new farming equipment rises as a result of farmers' reduced ability to invest in new machinery. When farming incomes decline, many farmers choose to repair and maintain their older equipment rather than buy new machinery. For many years, experts had predicted that global population growth, particularly in nations like China, would lead to increased demand for agricultural products. However, that forecast has largely proven to be inaccurate, rather than emerging as a major importer. In 2023, machinery from companies like John Deere has significantly decreased, leaving both the manufacturer and the farming community in a difficult situation. Commodity experts predicted further declines, with crop values expected to fall by 12% by the year 2024. Additionally, corn prices are expected to decline by an additional 17.9%, compounding the financial difficulties that farmers face on a daily basis. By making significant investments in advanced irrigation systems, cutting-edge farming infrastructure, and agricultural technology, China has quickly advanced its own agricultural sector. With advancements in precision agriculture and the creation of high-yield crop varieties, China has drastically increased its domestic production of crops like corn and soybeans, flooding global markets and driving prices down. This is part of the country's 13th five-year plan for agricultural science and technology development, which aims to make China a leader in agricultural innovation by the year 2050. As the global agricultural market changes, China has emerged as a strong rival that poses a threat to established exporters and puts additional financial strain on American farmers. China's agricultural equipment market is expected to grow from $24.13 billion in recent projections, and Chinese equipment manufacturers are becoming major competitors to American giants like John Deere by providing dependable and reasonably priced machinery. This dynamic scenario highlights the significant changes taking place in the agricultural industry, where innovation is driving competition. Amidst this national crisis, farming's future is being redefined by global competition and economic pressures. The hardships faced by one devoted farmer and rancher, Walter, serve as a moving example of the larger problems. Third-generation Montana farmer and rancher Walter produces registered Black Angus cattle and sells about 1,000 tons of hay annually. In his early days, Walter was astounded by how smoothly his new tractor operated. It had electronic switches, modern sensors, and an amazing power shift. Transmissions that made all of the work on his expansive ranch seem simple. But as the busy season progressed, the tractor started to randomly shut down. This unanticipated malfunction left convinced that a fault existed. Walter was baffled and frustrated because every minute of downtime endangered the quality of his hay, a crop that needs to be bailed out immediately before even a hint of rain could ruin it. Walter thought that the fuel system might be the cause, so he changed the fuel filter, but the problem persisted, leaving him with a broken tractor at a time when every second mattered. In desperation, Walter called a local John Deere mechanic, who informed him that the only way to properly diagnose the problem was to connect a computer and download the error codes from the tractor system. When Walter asked to borrow the diagnostic computer, he received a CT reply that said, "Oh no, we do not do that," with the hay ready to be baled and time running out. The mechanic eventually told Walter that he could not send a technician for a full week without any tools provided for a self-repair. Walter then asked if he could rent the equipment again, but he was met with a firm refusal. Walter was caught in a situation that paralleled the more significant structural issues afflicting the sector. Walter believed that his problems were a sign of a larger crisis rather than just a personal setback. He claimed that farmers and ranchers were losing billions of dollars in revenue from his repair shop as a result of John Deere's restrictive policies. Every time one component was changed, another part of the system would malfunction as if replacing one piece invariably broke something else in his system. And Walter had seen firsthand how the costs for basic fixes skyrocketed to nearly half of what major tech companies might charge. A single repair could easily consume an entire monthly paycheck. In quiet moments of frustration, Walter would think, "Come on, I just need a new battery," but the required specialized tools and proprietary software were still locked away, and only authorized dealerships could access them. Farmers were left helpless and compelled to depend on a system that did not work for them. Walter reflected on the past and remembered that the first tractors he had learned to drive were completely mechanical. This meant that farmers could rely on their own knowledge or that of local mechanics without undue interference, and diagnosing and fixing problems was a simple process. In contrast, independent repair shops are unable to use the specialized diagnostic software needed for modern John Deere tractors. Walter's experience serves as a stark reminder that the problems facing American agriculture today go far beyond a single broken tractor. Rather, they represent a complex crisis that threatens the industry's very foundation. When crop prices drop sharply, as they have in recent years, the entire supply chain suffers, and the collapse in crop revenues forces. In order to save money, farmers frequently choose to keep up with outdated machinery rather than investing in new, more effective technology. Companies like John Deere, which rely on strong sales of their cutting-edge machinery to stay profitable in a cutthroat global market, are further harmed by this decline in demand for new machinery. At the same time, the traditional dynamics of international trade have changed due to the shift in global agricultural production brought about by technological advancements in nations like China. In addition to meeting its own food needs, China's quick advancements in agricultural innovation have made it possible for it to export excess crops to international markets, which has reduced prices. An environment where traditional exporters, including many American farmers, are being squeezed by relentless competition as a result of this increase in domestic production and aggressive investments in research and development, wide-ranging. Changes are occurring globally as a result of declining crop prices, which force farmers to operate on ever-thinning margins, making it harder for them to pay for rising production costs. With lower revenues, they have less money to invest in necessary improvements, such as modernizing machinery, implementing advanced technologies, or even paying for routine repairs. In this climate, the prohibitive cost of repairs and the restrictions imposed by companies like John Deere are not just inconveniences, they pose existential threats to farmers' livelihoods. When proprietary repair tools and diagnostic software start to impede basic maintenance, the situation nationwide necessitates a thorough rethinking of the laws and procedures governing contemporary agriculture. Practices that prioritize corporate profit over the sustainability of rural communities undermine the promise of technological advancement. Farmers like Walter, who have devoted their lives to cultivating the land and protecting a generation-old legacy, are left to rely on a system that appears to be growing more unconcerned with their plight. The problems that American agriculture is currently facing are not isolated occurrences, but rather are a part of a larger story of technological and economic disruption coupled with the pressures of falling crop prices.